Hello, everyone. Just letting you know, we'll get started. As my colleague just mentioned, we'll get started in a minute or two. We're just waiting as everybody kind of enters the room. So hold tight. We'll get started soon. Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. I know there's still people basically joining us, but in the interest of time, we're gonna get started. Just want to get through as many questions as possible. I'll start by introducing myself, and then I'll give a chance to our panelists to introduce themselves as well. My name is Ruth Ortega Gonzalez. I am the manager of Graduate International Recruitment and Retention here at UCI's grad division. My primary role basically is program coordinator for GIC, which is the Graduate International Connection Program, which many of you may have already received information about. It's basically a peer-to-peer mentor program. You basically have panelists like you see right now mentor you throughout summer just to basically get you started to join UCI in the fall, so that you don't feel lost or you don't know basically what to do. So if you haven't basically received any information about GIC and you're interested in it, please you can always email us at gic@uci.edu and we can send you an interest form, or we can provide more information before you decide to join. Along with that, I've also been at UCI for over 10 years and I've worked with international students at UCI specifically for over 10 years. So I do have a lot of knowledge in terms of a lot of the issues that maybe all of you face in terms of visa, even campus life, all of that. And so that's my small introduction in terms of GIC. I do want to remind folks though that the chat feature isn't available, but if you had a question, please use the Q&A. We do encourage you to use it. Of course, we have questions prepared for the panelists that may address most of your questions, but of course, if there's something that we're missing, we'll definitely look into the Q&A to be able to answer that as well. And with that, I will now introduce our panelists. I'll give them the chance to introduce themselves. I'll call on each one of you so that you're like, who goes first? So Francis, can you go first?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Frances Lee. I'm a fourth year student in the clinical psychology program. And I went to my undergrad here at UCI in 2015. So as of this year, it was 11 years ago. And I'm really excited to be back here for a PhD at UCI and wrapping up halfway of my journey here. And nice to meet everyone.
Will, can you go next?
Hi everyone, my name is Will, and I'm currently a third year PhD student here at UCI. My major is in language science, so basically we study how people comprehend and produce languages. I'm from Taiwan, so before PhD, I haven't tried to live in a country abroad for such a long time, but I so far enjoy my time a lot here. I'm from Taiwan, so a lot of people here knows that I love boba a lot, and there's a lot of good bobas here around UCI or in Orange County in general. So I'll be happy to recommend it to you. And I'm happy to answer any question you might have to navigate your transition to this exciting new experiences.
Okay, last issue, can you go?
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Ushua de la Quintana and I'm a second year PhD student in the computer science department. I'm originally from Spain, so before I started my PhD, I actually came to UCI as an exchange student during my undergrad junior year, and I loved it that much that I came back. So I would say I have some experience around, and I'll be really happy to help you with any questions.
Great, thank you all. So before we get started, just a reminder, the panel is composed, as you may already know, for graduate students. So any basically questions that you have about policy and things like that, they won't be able to answer. This is mostly to introduce you to grad life here at UCI, and to hear a firsthand experience from actual graduate students who are basically living everything that you're maybe about to live, if you decide to choose UCI. So we'll get started with the first question, which is, I would say, a fairly easy question, but maybe all of you will disagree. So why did you choose UCI? And you can go in whatever order you want. But yes, that the question is, why did you choose UCI?
I can go first, maybe. So for me, it was a matter of familiarity, I guess. I already spent some time here, and so I was excited to go back to a place that I knew already, and I had some relations with people. But I feel like after, like, well, my first time was when I was here as a junior student, and I didn't know much about it, and I was just placed in the campus. I think I my program, you would just apply for the UC, and then you would be basically they would select a campus for you. For me, it was, I think, because my bioengineering program was best suited here, but during time, I think I've gone to chosen UCI because of its kind of calm environment. And as a grad student, that's something that I feel like it's beneficial to have somewhere that feels safe, and more when you're like so far away from home, at least. Well, I guess it's the case for most of us here. It's a nice, calm place where you can feel secure. The weather is nice, and then of course, in my field, the research is pretty good. I really like my advisor, so that's why I decided to come back.
Yeah, I have like very similar reasons. I think most importantly, it's such a nice place to live. The weather is really nice, so we're able to like be outdoors a lot, and I really like to like play tennis, for example. So being at UCI, having nice weather and having like over 100 public tennis courts here, like really allow me to spend time outdoors. And like for folks who like the beach, it's also really close by. I think that's one of the most important part. I also really enjoy the culture here, like whether it's broadly in Orange County or specifically within UCI. I think within UCI, like even though we can be pretty productive, we're all extremely collaborative, non-competitive. I think that's something I really love and enjoy, and I'm happy to contribute to that culture where we're passionately doing something we love in a non-competitive and a collaborative way, and we're like building upon each other's strengths that I really like. And then broader within Orange County, I really enjoy the culture, like how diverse cultures are represented here. And depending on which area we go to, we can easily access like good food, authentic like groceries. I really enjoy that part as well.
Yeah, I think Francis and Ushe mentioned all of the thing I love about Irvine Orange County in general. I really like the environment over here. People are really supportive. Our research program is really nice. I feel like it's a really good match. And that's basically the main reason I chose here. And also weather is also very important for me. Like when I apply for the PhD program in the States, I drew a line on the US map because I really don't like the cold area, but maybe some people are winter person. But I mean, I enjoy the sunshine a lot, and I do not regret at all. So I really like the weather over here. Feels every day I kind of feel very energetic and motivated. And yeah, I also like the broad culture over here. So no matter as an international student, no matter which country, home country you're from, I am sure you're able to find your people or your food or yeah, anything relevant to your culture over here in Orange County. I think this is one of the best part.
Thank you for sharing that. And kind of in line with the mention of like, how you like Southern California, the nice weather, which we're having today, thankfully. How do you maintain a balance between your academics and your personal life? Because we know, part of being a grad student, a lot of it always has to do with academics, but you need that nice balance between not always doing the academics and enjoying the beautiful weather that California has. So how do you maintain that balance? Because all of you can get so busy.
I think for me, it's two parts. One part is seeing that work-life balance can look different for different people. So it's not necessarily, so before I see work-life balance as like being able to get off work at like 5 or 6 p.m. and then have my evening to myself. And now I kind of work sporadically throughout the day. Whereas like, so like for lunch, maybe I take some time out for like groceries to go off at off peak times or like run errands at off peak times. And then in late afternoon, like I play tennis or like do other like exercises. And then I return back to work. And then this way, like I kind of structure my day, not with the goal of like ending at 5 or 6. I end like much later at like 10 or 11, but I'm getting my personal life in like integrated within the workday, and I really enjoy that. So I think it's being flexible with seeing what work-life balance could look like. And then the second part, which I'm continuing to work on, is like being able to see that things are enough. So like having a realistic goal and just recognizing progress for each day and not requiring to myself to get things done completely, because there's so many things and I accept that I'm never gonna have an empty to-do list, whether it's like the day before Christmas or like on Friday night, like it's not going to be completely checked off. So just being okay with things still being on my to-do list and then recognizing what I have done and what I could realistically do compared to like what would be perfectly done, like perfection.
Yeah, I think I agree with Francis about this kind of setting a mindset to, really set up a um boundary between like work and life, not to stress yourself too much to feel burned. For me, especially in my first year over here, I tried to work very hard and stayed up pretty late, and I found that that's actually not really a good, the outcome is not really good. I tend to be exhausted over the whole week, but try to, set up a little bit like, for example, like to leave the evening. Um, just get out from work to focus on cooking, sleep earlier, and then I woke up woke up earlier on the other day, and I can have more time during the day to arrange what I'm going to do. One thing I try to, makes me feel less stressed when doing work is like I try to bring work to I really like to work in coffee shop, and there's a lot of good coffee shop around the campus. Or if you have your own car, or you can take the OC bus, you can access to much more options. I will like spend a couple of hours in a coffee shop, and just to that's sort of my way to I'm doing some work, but still feeling a little bit relaxed for that. So I think that's there are also some very good corners around campus. Like there are good libraries, there are some structures, they have really good views. I think those are a good working area. Might increase your motivation a little bit. And after work, I also like to go running. I run around the campus. We have a ring road. Basically, it's a really, really nice place you can run on campus. There are also some good off-campus spots. And also there's a organization called ARC as and either recreational center. So they have offer some really good classes in terms of different kinds of sports. So I joined a pickleball class since my first year. This is the first time I played pickleball, but I enjoyed that a lot. I made some friends over there. Until now, we still play like pickleball like once a week. So I think this is a really good way to um de-stress a little bit, exercise a little bit, but also, networking with more people that you not did not often see in your home department. Yeah, I think these are the thing I think helps us to maintain a good balance here as a graduate students, I guess.
Yeah. So for me, I would say it's important. Well, it's for me important to share that my experience as a PhD student, I came to the program without a master's. So the first 2 years, I'm just now finishing my master courses. So until now, with master courses, my PhD research, and my TA appointment, because I do support myself through TA funding, it's a bit of a hectic time, and it can be really easy to get caught on everything that you have to do. As Francis said, there's never going to be an empty checklist. So it is sometimes kind of challenging to keep a balance on how much work you do during the day, because you can put in your research hours, but then you may still have something to work on from your classes and your TAing. So I feel like, as Will said, joining some sort of community where you can actually take the time off. Because I feel like if you have kind of an appointment with someone else, it's easier to join, because I also like running, but most of the days I'm like, I'm too tired to go. But I do join classes in the ARC, or I have some friends here, of course. So we try to meet during the week to have dinner. Like, even if everyone brings their own dinner, we just like to take that time off. And if you have like a community that supports you, you take the time and you say, okay, I'm gonna go, even though I have 1,000 things to do, I'll still make the time. And then I feel so much better, because that's just an hour a day that maybe I take for myself, and I kind of disconnect, and it's super helpful. And then, of course, I try to take the weekends off. I know it always doesn't work out that way, but that's when I try to make time to explore Orange County, to explore California, and to, of course, make the most out of this incredible experience of living in California, and in such a privileged area. Because I feel like I didn't know much about Orange County coming here, but more and more it's getting super popular, and we really have to leverage our time here.
Thank you for all those questions and answers. Yeah, I think part of it in terms of what you mentioned, it's always important to, it's like I know you're coming here for a grad program, but it's also good that you kind of give yourself some time to all change your personal life. It's all part of life, even when you graduate and you start the real job in the real world. You kind of have to learn how to balance that, because then, I mean, work can overtake you. I do have a question that I really liked that I saw in the Q&A that I wanted to ask all of you, because I do think it's important for everyone in this room to kind of answer. And it's, what challenges have you faced as an international graduate student at UCI? I know it's a loaded question, so take your time with it. But I do think it's important for them to hear from you in terms of what challenges you faced.
Can start like I know Princess and Shay have like experiences at UCI before, and since as I mentioned, this is my first time studying abroad. So of course, I think a lot of the worries about international students is about languages. Like, we as non-native speakers, we're using languages we're not familiar with to live a life over here. I think there's definitely a challenge also for me, since, well, when I first got here, it's like, people talk so fast that people use words I haven't heard from the textbook. So I know it's definitely something I need to get used to. But yeah, I just want to let everyone know, like, things will naturally get better and better as you immerse yourself in such a new a diverse environment, using these languages every day to buy groceries, to go to classes, to make friends. Yeah, yeah, I think my take is that in case you don't worry about this too much, I think I often heard from a lot of international students worry about this a lot before they even started this trip, but don't worry about this too much. And as we mentioned earlier, we have really like diverse culture over here, so I think you'll be able, um, get used to this environment step by step by like you can know some people with speaking a language you're more familiar with, and then gradually you will make more friends along the whole communities, and gradually you will definitely pick up the um, um, language part and start to enjoy the life over here. There are some in terms of the resources. Firstly, you can also, I think there are some academic English courses around campus. So if you need that, you can also sign up for that. I think they have some like specifically targeting the oral communication. So that might help you a little bit if that's something you think will be helpful. The other thing is definitely GICE here. We will welcome everybody to join here. We have a lot of international students, and like all of us here are the mentor in the GIC program, and we're here to help you to navigate your transition from your life before to the new study here at UCI. So I think yeah, during JSC you'll be able to know more peers from different countries, accessing to different cultures, and like to yeah, make more connection with the whole community. So yeah, I think there are some challenges definitely living abroad, but I think there are also some a lot of resources over here at UCI.
Yeah, I also feel similarly that the language piece is one because, similar to what Will said, I think um, like how we make conversations from a day to day is different from how we learn English from English classes from a textbook. And I found it helpful to watch YouTubes, like have YouTubers who are students or who are students in the US, and then see how their lives are at and how they speak, and also watching like US TV shows. That really helps me be more familiarized with like the oral spoken English compared to the more academic tone that we're more used to when we learn English in a foreign country. And I think another challenge for me is like the different cultural components and even like different habits. Like, for example, in the US, they use different metric systems. And for example, they use Fahrenheit and like yard or like feet compared to like when I was used to using like Celsius, meters, it was like something to adjust to. So even just communicating like distance, temperature, or even like how much money, it could be a little something to get used to. So I think that definitely that's something that you could prepare beforehand by like watching YouTube videos explaining the differences, and it's something that you could try to adjust to when you get here. I think for me, the biggest challenge was to balance acculturating to the US and learning and embracing the different culture here, which I like, and still like maintaining like how much love and care I have for my culture and my family, because I feel very close to my family and my culture, and being here I am like more away from my friends and family who are still growing, living and changing in my home country. So I think that's something that was my biggest challenge when I was adjusting. And to cope with that, I felt like it was really helpful to embrace to immerse myself with other folks who are experiencing similar situations. Like, for example, other international students, whichever country they're from, who are also going through this transition and also balancing acculturation with like their family and culture that they love. So, like going to programs that were designed for international students and branching out from that to just going to any programs designed with, I think all programs or events at UCI are designed with this multicultural inclusion mission in mind. So, even like events that were hosted at UCI grad housing, like they would have recently we had an event where they had like sweet treats and desserts from different cultures, and then we can naturally like start a conversation like by like having like the different desserts from like Brazil, from Mexico, and then like learn other cultures while like sharing our pride for our own culture. So definitely going to these different events have been helpful for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I haven't gotten kind of used to the Fahrenheit yes yet. I'm still on Celsius. But I feel like thinking about like how my life or grad experience is different comparing to my American friends or kind of citizen people around me. I'd say one of the main things that popped up to my mind was summer and like maybe vacation time. Because as a master's student, maybe it's different. I'm not sure, but as a PhD, you're still supposed to work during summer and during vacation. Sometimes like vacation is really like a you're well depends on the lab, so I'm not gonna get too technical on that side. But I I think I've been pretty lucky on the side that my work, most of my work can be done online. So I have the opportunity to go back to my family during the summer and also during Christmas. So that's been an important thing for me. And I feel like if that's an important thing for you too, it's a good conversation to have as you start your program to kind of decide. Maybe you have to work it out with your advisor or with your lab to set those boundaries or those kind of timings so they please you, because I feel like it has been important for me to go back at least sometime during the year. I also recognize that this might not be a possibility for everyone because visas work differently. So I feel like that's been a challenge, and I know that a lot of people deal with that in a different way. Um, Other than that, I do feel UCI is a very international and multicultural community. So I feel like everyone's from different places, and I have always been, I've always felt welcome. Also, I've always surrounded with people like from GIC, my close circle. It's either GIC, Spanish friends, interpolations of that. So I've always felt pretty welcome, and also it's good to have like such a community where everyone has their kind of their own culture and their own background, so you can also learn from other people's challenges and how that affects you or how that affects you differently. So I feel both GIC and like the international community at UCI have always given me answers to my questions or challenges through navigating UCI as an international student.
Okay, thank you. I do see a question that I think it's interesting to address just because I do get this question myself a lot. Um, what was the transition from semester to the quarter system? Because I know semesters are much longer and the quarter goes very fast. As someone
Mm-hmm.
who I did my undergrad at UCI and then went to do my master's at Cal State Fullerton, which is a semester system. Mine was reverse. I thought the semester was too slow,
Mm-hmm.
but it's because my entire undergrad was just like go, 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 quarter system. And so I guess for those students who are coming from maybe systems where it's like they did an undergrad and master's from a semester to a quarter system, I know can be like a shock to the system. So if all of you have experience with that, what was your transition like?
I don't think in my case, I don't think it was too bad. It is true that it goes on very fast, but I feel like that kind of helps engage because in the semester system you feel like, oh, it's too far away, the finals like 10 million years from now. But you have to really like keep the pace, and you have I think we're now on second week or first week. I guess it's second week. Yeah, second week goes stream. And I already have like assignments for my classes and everything's going like pa pa pa. So it's yeah, for me it's been helpful to engage, I guess. And then also like if you don't really like, I feel like every semester goes in a different way because like what classes you're taking, what TAing you're doing, or it is a bit different with research. Research doesn't really understand of quarters or semesters, it just goes on forever. But I feel like if you're not super happy with how a quarter has turned out for you, you're safe to say that it will be over in a couple of weeks. Which has the downside where, like, if you really like it, then it will go on so very fast too. But it's like it keeps it exciting, I guess, and yeah, engaging. That I think that's my experience with it.
Yeah, I think I have a similar feel. Like at first, I'm also from I did semester system for the whole like undergrad and master, and this is also my first time transition to the quarter system. Actually, I also a little bit worried at the very beginning, but ended up I would say I love quarter system much more in a way. Like first thing, like definitely everything go very fast. Like, this is week one and week five, you have your midterm, and then week 10 is over. But I think the good thing, one thing is that they just Shay mentioned that if you don't really like the class, it's earlier, which is good. And also because the whole year is chopped into three quarters. So actually on the other side, each quarter is shorter, but you got chance to access to broader courses. So I feel like I can actually take more different courses and get a taste of that because you have three chances to choose courses. Um, during the year. I think this is also pretty good. Um, Also, the other benefit is that we got really long summer because of this quota system. I think this is also good. Yeah, so my take is that quota system is definitely more fast paced, but I think it also gives you an opportunity for broader experiences in terms of the coursework. So yeah, I personally really like it.
Me too. I was also started on a quarter system when I was in college, and I really enjoy it compared to my master's when I had a semester system. I think in a semester system, typically folks started off being a little more laid back, like from week one to week three, like before midterms. And the difference for a quarter system is that from week one, we need to be very familiar with the syllabus and be ready to complete assignments and even do midterms because some midterms start at week two, even though they're called midterm. And I think I really enjoy it because it really allowed us to get a more breadth of knowledge rather than going so deep into one single topic. And in my department, for classes that require more in-depth instruction, say like structural equation modeling, they would break it into two separate classes so that it would span over two quarters. So we will still get that depth. So I personally really enjoy it, and I recommend being very familiar with the syllabus at week one, like at the first instruction, so that you're prepared for any assignment that might come your way in the first few weeks. And another heads up is like between winter quarter and spring quarter, because there are three academic quarters and a optional summer quarter where PhD students don't usually take classes. Between um, winter and spring quarter, there's only a 1 week break, which is spring break, which we just experienced 3 weeks ago. That one feels very, very short. So winter and spring almost feels like a long, big quarter. So it's helpful to like budget our energy accordingly, knowing that this is going to feel longer.
See, all of you sharing my frustration when I went from quarter to semester was it's going too slow. So I was a little disengaged because I went from like you have to be engaged because you have to get those assignments done. So for anyone coming from a semester to a quarter, it's definitely going to take adjustment, but you'll probably once you're adjusted, you're like, how did I not live with this kind of system? It goes faster. And like she had said, it keeps things exciting. So in terms of like looking at some of the questions as well, I think it's important to address, which is I think always one of the questions that we get living here in Orange County, transportation. Because I know one of the questions mentioned like someone being from San Francisco and it is very walkable there. Um, so I guess what would you consider our transportation challenges in terms of living here in Orange County, specifically in Irvine? Does it make a difference between living on campus and off campus with transportation? Because I know that kind of ties into it because it makes things a little different. But yeah, so transportation and how walkable is it?
I can share like there's also a transition progress for me on the transportation side. So I would say I would be honest, like overall South California is not a really walkable area in general. Basically, it's life will be much easier when you have car to explore around. But there are still some options because at the first year I don't at the first 2 years I don't have car. Now I have car. I mean life is definitely easier. But for the first 2 years, as I mentioned, I really like to explore around and to work in coffee shop off campus. So I do have a lot of um notes on that. So I think it's not that convenient in a way that, for example, if you want to take public transportation, you really need to search up the timetable at first. And then, like, I think because of if you're driving, you can just go onto the highway. But if you're taking public transportation, you go there assigned routes. So, expect your travel time will be longer. But I think it's still usable in terms of for example, like here at Orange County, around Orange County, there's a system called the bus system called OC Bus. So it's pretty convenient in a way you can just download the app and then you can buy the ticket. You can just scan your tickets bus. There's bus stop around the campus, so you could just walk the bus stop, and you can from there you can access some we are in Irvine, but in Orange County we have other like area like Costa Mesa, like Tustin, like Orange. These area are accessible through bus, I think within an hour, I would say. So as long as you plan ahead, I think you will still be able to use public transportation to explore around. And if you are more interested in going to a little bit like bigger places, like LA and San Diego, we have Metrolink and Amtrak over here, which is also very convenient. The only thing is that you need to get to a train station. But the typical way is that you can take bus, but it take longer. The easiest way is you just call Uber and Lyft. It's you can just download the app. It's not a problem to get a Lyft and Uber over here. So basically, what I see people did is like we take the Uber to the train station and then you can take Metrolink, for example, to LA. And I think they have like some school students discount. Like if I remember correctly, at least for last year, it's just $5. So you can get from Irvine to LA to explore around. I think that's good. And for San Diego, I think it's like $20 or something. So it's also like quite affordable. So yeah, I think there are definitely some options of public transportation over here, but it just requires you to plan ahead. Whether if you need a car or not, because I'm a PhD student, I will be staying here for 5 years, so I decided, this might be a good investment. But I know a lot of people you're doing master's program, the program is a little bit shorter, like 12 months or 15 months. So depends on your need. But yeah, if you don't have a car, I think there's still some resources over here you can use. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Will. I'd say if you don't want to get a car, get friends that have a car. That's what worked for me. And also kind of like um, helps you or like motivates you to get out there, make friends. Usually I feel like people do have a car or try to, yeah, I do feel like it's important to have a car, especially if you want to explore outside campus. Housing options, I think someone was asking also about this and like how walkable or if you can get around with your bike around campus. I live in grass housing, and for me, I think it's a 10-minute walk to campus, and most places around campus are, I think, maybe 30 minutes at most. There's also a small bus that takes you around if you have to go to like the more the research part of the campus, which is a bit more at the outskirts. But a bike helps if you have to go around very fast to one point to another, which can be the case in like your first years where you're going to classes, then maybe to your lab or maybe home or to the grocery store. So I feel like having a bike it's useful on campus, but definitely if you want to explore Orange County and go to the beach, um, either Ubering if it's something that doesn't happen very often, or trying to get a car or find a community where you guys share some cars. Um, Myself, I'm Spanish, so there's quite a community of Spanish people living in UCI, and we all share like 3, 4 cars. Well, there's 3, 4 people that have a car, so we can kind of get ourselves around when we need to. And I feel like that's enhanced our experience a lot more. So maybe it is something to start thinking about right now if this is important for you, if you don't really mind about exploring the area or going to the beach. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it has been for me.
I also think if you plan to not have a car, then it's even more helpful to live on campus or near campus because near campus, there's such a good network of like different life necessity places. Like we have bank, we have like a urgent care and like a T-Mobile, which is like a mobile carrier, like all the different like necessity things that is walkable, like 10 minutes walk from campus. So it's really helpful to be on campus. Another thing, if you live on campus, is that there's something called Zipcar. It's a car rental program that's extremely flexible where you can rent a car by the hour. When I last used it, an hour can be as cheap as $9. I bet now it's like 15 at least. But still, like you're able to rent car for just a few hours if you need a car for something specific. So that's something that can be really helpful. And like Usha and Will said, within the campus is extremely walkable, very bikeable. And beyond the campus, it gets much harder if you don't have a car. I think a car is not a necessity, but it definitely, a lot of us associate it with freedom. I think it really helps with like a more adventurous, more like exploring lifestyle, but definitely not necessary.
Yeah, I do want to agree with Francis as everything that you might need in like your everyday life, it's on campus. So if you do live on campus or have find a way to get here easily with a bus, or some people come here with an electrical bike, then you're set to go. Like we have grocery stores, so there's some shops, there's the healthcare, there's the ARC. So everything you like during the week, I think you're okay. It's more about, as we said, for free time, for exploring. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'm looking at more of the questions in the Q&A. And there's one interesting one that I'll tie into also another question that we had. So what's a piece of advice or information like you wish you knew before you came? And also, are there any tips that you could give them in terms of like preparing for graduate student during the summer, just to prepare to come? If you forget the question, I'll re-answer it. But basically, like what challenges, what something that you wish you knew before you came, and what did you do to prepare for summer, or what would you suggest they do to prepare for during the summer before they arrive?
I can go first. I think for me, I think it's important to ask questions or like connect to people that are in a similar program or maybe in your same lab if you're researching. Because I wasn't really aware of how important TAing would be in my case. Because all the friends or like, yeah, I had some friends doing in a PhD program, but in different departments within UCI. So I didn't really understand the importance of TA in specifically in the computer science department where it's very common and everyone does it. So like to, I would have liked to know that in advance to kind of have a better understanding of how hectic my day-to-day life would look. It's something you get used to, and I'm actually enjoying now. I feel like I do a lot of things, and I'm learning a lot from all the different inputs. But it is something that at first scared me. I wasn't really aware of, and it's basically to kind of know more about how your program looks like along the years, so you can prepare for it and maybe even decide if you're a good fit. I think, yeah, maybe. So yeah, talk to people that are in your same department, in your same lab. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Maybe everyone's experience can be different. So a good way to prepare for it is join GIC, where we might be able to connect you with with people in similar programs if you don't have that information at your reach. But yeah, talk to people and make friends. Yeah, build a community. Try to start building a community that you can be excited to get to.
Yeah, so yeah, I think for me it's like yeah, definitely check into some academic requirements with the people from your department so you can get ready for like how's the coursework or how's the research overall academic progress will look like over the year. That's one thing. For other stuff, I would say before you come here, maybe you can try to get some information like more necessary uh, some necessary stuff to help you settling in. For example, like you might want to learn more about how to, for example, how to open up a bank account. What's the some documents you might need, or what's the how to get a US phone number that might be useful. How to get furnitures, no matter it's a new furnitures, you can order it from Amazon, or you want to get a second-hand furnitures, then you can start searching some Facebook group. They're like I think there are like a group called like UCI for sale or like some group over there. You can look for like good furnitures over there. I think especially at the end of August or at beginning of September, a lot of graduate students they will be moving out, so they will start posting things around. So maybe there's something you can if you want to get a good deal, that's some place you can aim for. Yeah, so I think before coming here, I would say you definitely can do some research on these stuff like that especially would matter much more for especially the first month when you're settling in. But for other stuff, I would say you don't like really need to worry too much about that once you get here. And like Shay mentioned, if you connect to much more people, I think you will learn more experiences from other people, and then you will yeah, find a way to navigate yourself through um, the whole process. Yeah, so I would say prepare, do definitely do some preparation beforehand in terms of settling in, but do not stress out too much before the travel. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also echo that the summer before your PhD is a great time to just take a break and explore other parts beyond the PhD rather than just prepare for it. Because once it starts, it can get pretty intense and there's no going back to that carefree time before you start. I think my biggest advice or something that helped me the most is to not do the transition in isolation because like many of us, like even the three of us today, even though we have different backgrounds and experiences, we have such similar experiences and feelings while we're adjusting to UCI and starting PhD. So I definitely noticed that a lot of the concerns or struggles that I have are also shared by, for example, my cohort in my PhD program or other students in the community beyond my department. So I think it's super helpful to not like suffer in isolation, but to actively be to seek out a community and be in a community and cope with challenges together. And another thing is like we don't just transition overnight and everything will be figured out, will be great. And it's more of a continuous experience. So look at it not as like a stressful task that you need to get done, but as like a continuous process that's part of your life's experience. I think that was really helpful for me when I was transitioning here.
Great, thank you. I'm looking at other questions in the Q&A that we could address. I know one of them did mention involvement on campus. As all of you have mentioned, they're all GIC mentors. They're GIC mentors this year, so now. Um, but basically, in terms of like everything that you have to do with academics, like, are you involved on campus communities, clubs, and how do you manage that in terms of being able to do it? I think a lot of the questions sometimes is, can you even join? Because it does tend to be heavily for undergraduate students, but grad students do have a lot of involvement on campus as well. So if you're involved on any organizations, please mention them. And if there's any recommendations that you have for students who are looking to join certain clubs or organizations on campus.
For me, I did not like join like a lot of clubs over here, but I do join like not necessarily join like I do showing some activity held by the Taiwanese Student Association on UCI. So I think that's a good place to start. Maybe you can searching for if there's some student association um, um, from your home country organized by students on campus. I think that's a good place to start to get connection with people and they might have more suggestions or advices for you to settle in this new environment. Yeah, other than that, yeah, the other thing I did is just I mentioned before, I did the pickleball class in Antarctic, and that's also an option like where you can meet people who like to do similar sports with you. Um, also, I'm also in GIC, so this is also a kind of a organization that put all the international students together. So yeah, from my personal experiences, these are the um, places I've been in.
Yeah, all of the clubs are open to, at least most of the clubs I know are open to both grad students and undergrads. And based on my impression, most of them are ran and led by undergraduate students because they have more time on campus and they have more opportunity to like transition from being a club member to like a club leader. So I had experience joining the tennis club as a grad student, and it was really fun. And definitely more students are undergraduate students, but most of the time you don't really feel the difference, and everyone has been really welcoming. And in my undergrad time at UCI, I joined a volunteer club called Red Cross Club at UCI, where we do different community service events each week at different organizations. Like that was also a really fun way to both like get to know the broader Orange County community here and get to meet fellow students. So that was also really fun. I think there is an official website, whether it's called Campus Groups or something, that shows all the events that UCI hosts, and that could be a really helpful place to find some events. And as soon as you start here, like you would start getting emails that are sent to you from like different organizations, whether it's like on campus housing or your department or like grad division, that tells you all the different events. So those sources, like getting these emails, can be more directly relevant to like the the field or the organization that you're in. So you can find events from there too.
Yeah, I'll finish by saying that I'm a part of the Society of Women in Engineering. So in the engineering department, I'm a board member. So I originally was introduced to the society, and they do a lot of events. We're a woman in engineering, but everyone's really welcome, and we do barbecues, we do coffee hours, so we try to get all sorts of STEM majors involved, but really everyone is welcome. I bring my, I don't know, social sciences friends there, and everyone's welcome. And then I transitioned into being a board member because I wanted to contribute a bit more. And there were also opportunities related to joining the club. So I think it's a good opportunity to to maybe connect with other people outside from your closest friend group or your initial community. And that was my main motivation. Other than that, my experience with undergrad kind of clubs and communities is that I remember I had a question about what camera to get, and there's the photography club at UCI, and I just joined the Discord, tell them about my inquiries, and they helped me. So I think like it's a good. There's a lot of connection. There's a lot of easy ways to get to these communities where you might have things in common, and it's a good way to leverage that. I think it's nice that you can use that to fulfill whatever need or interest or curiosity you might have. It's pretty easy to get directed to whatever club of thing that you might be interested in.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna start wrapping up. Is there, as a final note, I guess, what would you provide as a tip or a recommendation or wisdom onto those who are thinking about coming to UCI? I'll leave that up to you. As you may notice, Will had to leave. He has other duties. But Francis and Shua are still here, and they can give you their last parting words.
I think we mentioned it several times throughout the session, but it's definitely really helpful to check out GIC, Graduate International Connect. Within the GIC, we have Instagram accounts that has different posts about different topics, say like and also a blog. And so like we have like existing resources online about like specifically how to get like a US phone number or a bank account, or like navigating campus on a bike, for example, or like different campus organizations. That's really helpful. And on the social media, I think there are also other different departments within UCI, like for example, campus recreation. So what Will was saying earlier, the ARC, which is our gym slash wellness center, they also have like an Instagram account and they post a lot of event information. So definitely check out existing resources. I think my parting words or final words are just to have fun and enjoy the process. It is extremely exciting that you're about to embark on this journey, whether it's academic or professional journey of your life, and it should be exciting and fun. So I hope you can approach it like there is some uncertainty, and with a very like a fun mindset for what you'll experience when in the fall.
Yeah, I think on the same note, I'd also say that grad life or grad journey is a roller coaster. So don't be intimidated if sometimes it's maybe not as fun. I feel like I've gone through periods of time where I was super happy with my work, and then I don't know, because I was doing so much work, I maybe wasn't that happy about how my social life was going, and vice versa. So that's a natural feeling to have, and that's a natural thing that will happen. But it's important to understand that not everything will be perfect all the time, but that as long as you're trying your best and you're taking the time for yourself and you're understanding how your timing and your limits work, it will be a learning process. So I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, about how I communicate with other people, how I like to work, and how my boundaries work with also the people I work with or a relation with. Um, but yeah, basically, and also you're not alone. So there's probably someone else in your close or not so close circle that's undergoing a different situation, a harder situation, an easier situation. So it's important that you talk to whoever you need to. There's always someone that you're gonna be able to talk to, and GIC can help you with that if there's you sometimes feel like there's no one listening. But that has helped me a lot to understand other people's perspective, and that even if people feel like they have everything figured out, it's usually not the case, and it's totally fine.
Great, thank you. And as both of them mentioned, if you do need support, if you have any questions, I am here for that. You can always contact me at gic@uci.edu, and I can help you navigate the campus better if you are having trouble. And yeah, that comes to basically an end of our session. I know there's some questions that weren't answered. Trust me, we could spend like another 2 hours here, just answering questions. But thank you for attending and thank you for listening to all of them. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and have a great rest of your day, night, evening, wherever, morning, wherever you're at in whatever time zone. I hope you enjoy the rest of it.